They carry a knife that can't be sheathed unless it's tasted blood, and have a reputation built on centuries of fearless combat. This is one of the British Army's most feared regiments, and they don't come from Britain. For over 200 years, these warriors from the mountains of Nepal have struck fear into the heart of Britain's enemies. But how did a tiny force from a tiny nation become the backbone of one of the world's most elite armies? And why, even today, a Gurkha is considered irreplaceable? This is the story of loyalty, courage, and a blade that never backs down. Welcome back to the war. The Gurkhas earned their reputation by fighting against the British. In 1814, during the Anglo-Nepalese War, British forces were stunned by the sheer tenacity of the Gurkha soldiers. Despite being outgunned and outnumbered, these mountain warriors refused to surrender. So what did the British do? They hired them. In a move that would change military history, Britain began recruiting Gurkhas into its army, saying, if you can't beat them, recruit them. And for the next 200 years, Gurkhas fought in every major British conflict, from the trenches of World War I to the deserts of Afghanistan. But it's not just their combat record that makes them legendary, it's how they fight and why they never quit. And here's a twist. Despite serving the British Crown for centuries, Gurkhas didn't even have equal rights until recently. Stick around, because what they endured outside the battlefield is just as fierce as what they faced in it. It all starts in the hills of Nepal, where being poor is common, but being tough is essential. The Gurkha recruitment process is brutal. Out of over 20,000 applicants, only around 200 make it each year. Candidates run uphill carrying 70-pound Doko baskets, wrestle through obstacle courses, and face psychological tests designed to break them. Oh, and they're not told whether they passed until months later. So why do they go through it? Because wearing the British Gurkha badge isn't just a job, it's a life-changing honour. It means prestige, income for the family, and a shot at serving in one of the most elite regiments on earth. But here's one item every Gurkha must carry at all times that's even more feared than a rifle, and it's not what you think.
Okay, keep on firing.
Let's talk about the kukri, the curved knife that's become a symbol of the Gurkhas. Tradition says once it's drawn in battle, it must draw blood before it can be returned to its sheath. But this isn't some mystical fairy tale. During World War II, Gurkhas would sneak behind enemy lines with nothing but their kukris and silence enemy patrols with terrifying precision. British officers described them as the bravest of the brave. One officer recalled, if a man says he's not afraid of dying, he's either lying or he's a Gurkha. But bravery wasn't always enough to earn respect, even after decades of sacrifice. Let's talk about the betrayal that changed everything. After World War II, over 250,000 Gurkhas had served Britain. Tens of thousands gave their lives. But when the war ended, many were denied pensions, equal pay, or even the right to settle in the UK. For decades, Gurkhas were paid far less than their British counterparts. Some veterans who had fought in jungle warfare and saved countless lives returned home with barely enough money to survive. The outrage grew. Protests erupted. Even Joanna Lumley, the actress, joined the campaign for Gurkha justice. Her father had served with them. Finally, in 2009, after a long battle, Gurkhas won the right to live in the UK and receive better compensation. But the scars of that betrayal still linger. So here's a question. Should a soldier's sacrifice be valued differently based on where they're from? Let us know in the comments. Today, Gurkhas serve across the British military, in roles ranging from infantry to cyber operations. They're based primarily in the Royal Gurkha Rifles, but also serve in logistics, engineers, and even special forces. In Afghanistan, Gurkha units earned over 100 Bravery awards, including Conspicuous Gallantry Crosses, one step below the Victoria Cross. In 2010, Corporal Pun famously fought off over a dozen Taliban fighters alone, using every bullet, grenade, and even a tripod from his machine gun when he ran out of ammo. When asked what he was thinking during the ambush, he simply said, "I thought, this is it. I'm going to die, so I might as well go out fighting." But Gurkhas don't just fight in war zones. They're often the first into disaster zones too. Earthquakes, floods, pandemics, you name it.
या डाँडाको टुप्पामा फायर गर फायर गर फायर गर फायर गर ओके
Gurkhas represent more than skill. They embody loyalty, sacrifice, and courage under fire. They fought under British command in every major war for over 2 centuries. And yet, their biggest victory might be how they've changed the army from the inside. They forced the British military and public to recognise the value of foreign-born soldiers, not just as manpower, but as equals. And they remind us that bravery isn't something you're born into. It's something you prove every single day. Remember that question at the start. How could a tiny group from Nepal become irreplaceable in the British Army? Because you don't need to be born in a powerful country to be a powerful soldier. You just need a kukri, a cause, and the heart to never back down. There are many regiments in the British Army, but only one makes enemies fear a knife drawn in silence. Only one writes its legacy, not with words, but with actions. And if you want to learn about another group of warriors who changed the rules of battle, check out our video on the Paras, the airborne soldiers who wear the iconic maroon beret. Hi soldiers, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to check back in again soon. That's an order.